Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm the Fantasy Clown along with the real Brad Smith back at you. Now, I've kind of went off the grid this week, and so I'm not coming to you from my home office this time. So bear with me in my background. But week 10, how did you do, Brad?
Um, Better than I have previous weeks.
I I did poorly in like the games I was betting on and all the things that I thought would happen, but I think my teams won, and I was kind of shocked to see that I really did well comparatively speaking. So I guess I feel like we're in this crunch time though with 4 weeks to go in the regular season, and so it's time to really start to get things lined up and make those final trades to get those teams to the finish line. I saw, and I'm sure we'll cover it, but I saw that you have some real strong teams that can really make some money. So I'm anxious to see, what changes you might make to get those teams to the finish line. So with some of the players. So we'll talk a little more about that as we go in the Clown Head Leagues. But always like to start off the show with our DraftKings tournament. This week I came in second place, 123.82, so lesser score, and our winner Rick Topher, 137.72. Some of the players he used: Brock Purdy, Kamara, Bijan had a strong week, and then Josh Downs, DeAndre Hopkins, A.D. Mitchell, George Kittle. It went double tight end, Taysom Hill as well, and then the Bears defense is what scored him 137.72. Survivor, we're at week 10. We started out 48 entries in week 5. So we started only in week 5. We're down to 7. So 48 down to 7. One team got eliminated, County Grammar, with the Falcons. So their loss to the Saints, took him out. 5 of the 7 took the Chargers this week, and 2 took the Vikings. So those are our 7 that are still surviving there. Want to take a look at some of. Are you surprised that the numbers go down that fast, Brad, in the Survivor?
Yeah, I was surprised.
I mean, just picking one team to win, and we're just 5 weeks in. I guess 6 weeks in. Went from 48 down to 7.
Yeah, it's easy.
Can't even pick one winner right. And I'm part of that. So I played in 2 this year and lost both. The first one in week 2, and then the second one in week 5. So just brutal. Taking a look at our redraft leagues, and I think we're going to have some pretty exciting, redraft things coming, and next year. So pretty excited about that as well. And want to take a look at those top scores. So first, looking at best ball head to head in A, we had Justin JDM 1989 with a 284.10. Looks like JDM's been the top scorer in this league in week 5 as well, so returning. Best ball head to head B, No Cap Carson 305.19, and looks like the first time that No Cap Carson takes that top spot. Moving on to redraft 1, Jay Batista 10 with a 314.73, a real strong score there. Looks like week 4 was another top week for him. And then redraft 3, it's the principal, 333.83. So the top score on all the redrafts was it's the principal. And he was in week 5 as well, was his top score. He had a top score. So kind of interesting that, the return of 2 of our people from week 5, come back there. Looking at our dynasties and Clown 1 through 10, and we'll first look at 1 through 5. Clown had 1, Jason Parro, 287.85, and that's actually the top scorer overall, which is a small score comparatively speaking for this format. And we'll take a look at his team in a bit. It looks like week 5 also was another top scorer for him. Clown had 2, Heifer 808, 229.78. That's the first time that Heifer gets that top spot. Clown had 3, Deadeye Owl, 269.36. Deadeye back in week 5 as well, and week 2 was the top scorer. Clown had 4. The Draft Guru 279.65. Looking back, Draft Guru was just brought it back from week 9 to week 10 as the top scorer. And Clown had 5. Me, Fantasy Clown 259.11, and I also was the top scorer last week, so 2 in a row for me, and I was also the top scorer back in week 5. So kind of was able to, pull that out as well. So let's take a look, Brad, at Jason Parro's team in Clown had 1, and give me your kind of ideas of what that looks like.
He's in a tough spot, honestly, being the high scorer this week. His record, he's 3-7. He's out of the playoffs, and this is pretty much his optimal lineup with Will Levis, Derek Carr, Hunt, Spears, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, McLaurin, Jamar Chase. It looks like he's got Rashad White on bye this week, but and Brandon Ayuk on IR, but he has no draft picks until 2027. So I mean, he might have to change things up to not get the high score anymore if he was with how this year's going for him.
Yeah. No, that seems very true. Real strong receiver core there. It looks like he built around a real strong receiver core with some of those receivers, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, and then Jamar Chase. It's like, that gets you going definitely in the right direction, there. Well, let's take a look at Clown had 6 through 10. This is the 1 quarterback, 2 super flex leagues. Clown had 6, Hot Sauce Wally, 253.11. Just taking a quick peek here, Clown had 6. That looks like the first time Hot Sauce Wally is in that top spot. Clown had 7, Megaido, 296.99. And I feel like we say Megaido's name every time. He is the top scorer overall in 6 through 10, but he's been the top scorer week 1, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, and week 9 and week 10. So just kind of bringing it back with a strong team here each and every time. Clown had 8, Circle the Wagons, 264.33. Looks like Circle the Wagons was the top scorer back in week 7 as well. Clown had 9, Psalm 3303 with a 246.53. And just looking back, it looks like week 3, week 4, so before the buys, and then again in week 9 and week 10 was the top scorer. And then Clown had 10, Nick Merkel for 261.98. And, that in Clown had week 2, week 4, and then again in week 10 was the top scorer. Let's take a look at the Megaido Clown 7 lineup as well.
Yeah, I mean, this team's definitely good.
Just wins every week. I mean, I feel like it just wins every week.
Yeah, having Lamar and Derrick Henry as your 2 core people is pretty nice. And then he's got Saquon as well. Aaron Jones, D-Hop's been coming on as of late. Russell Wilson and Geno to fill out 3 QBs, and then he's got Kyler on bye this week, so he probably used him. And then he's got Chuba Hubbard on bye this week as well, who he probably has been using. And then Lockett on the bench, Godwin on IR, Pacheco on IR. I mean, this team's going to be even better come playoff time once guys like Pacheco are back.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's definitely, he's been able to sustain injuries and those buys, it seems like, as a top scorer in the league. So it's going to be a challenge to come get that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I actually in this series in Clown had 10, I had very few quarterbacks and had a lot of receivers. And I don't know if you saw that trade, but I traded away Odunze and Neighbors, so 2 really young up and coming receivers, and got back Dalton Kincaid, which in 3-point PPR scoring, matters a little bit as far as a tight end position, because I didn't have a tight end. And then I also got a quarterback, and with starting 3 quarterbacks, it felt like, even though Bryce Young was the quarterback, I'm taking a shot with it. So we'll see how that comes out. I also got a second round pick next year, so we'll see if that is a late second, an early second, or what that really is. But see how that turns out. Now, I did have a lot of receivers already. Even in addition to that, I have guys like Justin Jefferson and people like that. So I do have some players, but
I might not announce that trade out loud.
What was that?
I might not announce that trade out loud. That sounds
Well,
like
that's kind of why I did it, because it was kind of like this crazy trade that in most league setups would not be good. But I think in this setup, actually, well, I figure you'd like it because you like Bryce Young, but you like him as much as.
I mean, value-wise, you probably could have gotten more.
I don't know. Like, who's giving me more? Like, he actually countered it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing worse than that. I'm either taking that trade, or he offered me a third, and I'm like, no, I'm doing a second or nothing. Like, I don't care that much, but I'm also, feel like I'm in a good position with what I've got. So, I did need a quarterback though, pretty bad. Like, I just had none. So it'll be determined. If Bryce has a job next year, then it was good, and if Bryce doesn't have a job next year, it's not good. That's kind of the bottom line of that trade. Because Dalton Kincaid is a real tight end, and that'll be, good enough to be a top 5 at the position probably. So, yeah, that's where it is. Okay, let's look at the Elite Eight. This is at this time of the year, we're going to do this a little different. I'll announce those best teams, but we're also going to attach to this video kind of the standings, if you will, of who's in the hunt for those final 16 playoff spots in the 96-team league that, we really have that Sweet 16 that's going to come about in week 15. So Division A, the FF President, 280.42. And just taking a peek at Division A, we have Deadeye Owl with a 9-1 record, Psalm 3303 at 8-2. The FF President, 2 games back at 6-4. So needs to have those strong performances to get up there and overtake Psalm 3303. Out of 4 games left, to overcome 2 is a challenge. So good luck to the FF President putting up the big numbers, but you might be a little bit short as far as to get those final 2 playoff spots. Andy Tomberlin with a 7-3, and David R with a 6-4 record as well. So just kind of want to highlight them in Division A. Division B, Kodiak Snacks, 249.73, and just taking a peek there, Kodiak Snacks 9-1 overall. So really a strong performer there. And just a shout out to El Diaz, 8-2, and then on the outside looking in, Poppy 54, 7-3, Steelers Nation 56, 7-3, and Fat Black 6-4, just 2 games behind with 4 to play. Division C, the Draft Guru, 276.17, and the Draft Guru is in second place in that division. Team Potson 8-2, the Draft Guru 7-3, and then an awful lot of people in the hunt here in Division C. That's your division, Brad. We have Elbrad 9210 at 7-3, just less points. Jason Paro at 7-3, Team Commish at 6-4, Kentucky Bengal at 6-4, the Camera at 5-5. So an awful lot of players right there, on the fringe or 2 games back with 4 to play there that are still in striking distance, if you will. Division D, Johnny Ross. He was a finalist in the Final Four back 2 years ago, 262.67. Looking here, Johnny Ross is 5-5 overall, so 2 games behind first and second place. T. Tanner 7-3. Grizz Funk Shit with a 7-3 as well. And then we have Jake Peterson 27, 7-3, just less points. And Oscillation 6-4, Jack Power 6-4, Pritchard 0-3, 5-5, Johnny Ross 5-5, Max Philly Fan 7-5. So a lot in the hunt there as well. Looking at Division E, this is our top scorer overall, 315.96. So we'll take a peek at his team in a minute. But looking where he fits in, he's looks like 1 game out. D Hart 8-2. Is the top spot, and then we've got Miralist 6 with an 8-2 record, and then JSL 111 7-3, M Stu 17 7-3, And then Russ D 30 with a 6-4. Danny Nichols 6-4 as well. So, we'll take a peek at them, Stu, but needs to, have these big outings here to get back into those top two spots. Division F, Slick the Ruler, 293.36. Looks like he's in one of those top two spots. The first place, River AD 98 with a 9-1 record. A lot of points there. And then Slick the Ruler 9-1 as well, but just, looks like 200 less points. So a lot less points there in that spot. So got to keep that record up at 9-1. And then on the outside looking in, we've got Achilles the Hub with a 7-3, 2 games back. D-Rec 22 with a 7-3 record, 2 games back, are in the hunt there. So, strong records, really going to get them top seeds in the tournament, if you will. Division G, the Dutch Dynasty, 275.71. Our top scorer overall out of, for year to date in this division, in Dutch Dynasty, 10-0. So undefeated here, and with 2,854 points so far this year. And then we've got Top Flight Hooker with an 8-2 record in that second spot, 2,300 points. So 500 total points behind. Yeah, so he's kind of running away with the points there, the tiebreakers. Looking at the other people outside looking in, we've got the Pac Fan 1984, 7-3. 1 game back, Noisy Silence, 6-4, and SX Voice 21, 6-4. But all 2 games back. Looking at Division H, Cowboys and Utes, our champion 2 years ago overall out of the whole 96 teams, 248.28. He's in the second spot here in this division with a 9-1 record. So we have our other undefeated team, the Riverbed DP 7, 10-0. And then we have Cowboys and Utes 9-1, but with more points. So, we got 24-23 and 24-74. So if they get tied record, then Cowboys and Utes will pass that. And then M. Railston 10-13 in Division H was a Final Four participant as well in year 1 in this league, and 7-3 record, 2 games back. So, has some room to make, some ground to make up to get back to that Final Four. Let's take a look at them, Stu, 17, and see that team. What are your, you play in this tournament. What do you think about this team? Is this team can make up 2 games?
I mean, it's solid. Burrow and Herbert, Dobbins, McLaurin, Chase, Jefferson. Mark Andrews is finally doing well again. JSN. He's got Chuba Hubbard, Sam Darnold on the bench. Amari Cooper. It's a solid team for sure. I'm not sure if it'll be able to make up the 2 games to get into the tournament, but it'll definitely be a deep playoff team if you can catch fire.
Yeah. Some of these guys, they've been through their buys too, so that helps, a little bit. That's fun. All right, we'll do the same thing in the Big 8, and keep in mind we're going to pin these standings to the video as well, so that you can kind of take a peek at where they are and what the points are and where things stand as well. Looking at Division S, Wandata 21, 273.79, and actually Wandata 10-0 as well. And with Luigi Williams 9 with 8-2, a couple games back. So gonna fight for that last playoff spot there. David's Wish 10, 7-3, 1 game back. Team Podson 6-4, 2 games back. So those are in the hunt. Division T, Sean Lindy 286.93. Looking at Division T, we've got Captain Curl with a 9-1 record. Sean Lindy in the second spot, 7-3. And then we've got a couple teams 6-4. We've got Etomzik 3, 6-4, MB Gut 6-4, Noisy Silence 6-4, Buick 1957 6-4, and then those are all 1 game back. And then we've got Turkleton 24-20, 5-5, and the Heesh 5-5, 2 games back from Sean Lindy. So a lot of teams in the hunt there in Division T. It's going to be an exciting finish. Division U, the Draft Guru, which was our top scorer in all of Big 8, 295.71. So no scores over 300 this week. So you know that it's down a little bit. Taking a look at Division U, the Draft Guru 7-3 and 1 game behind the playoff push there. We got Jay Mule 9-1. We got D Hart 8-2, and so D Hart looks like he's in the top 2 in both of the big leagues. And then we've got the Draft Guru 7-3 behind Jay Yates 7-3 as well. So 1 game behind there, and fighting for that playoff spot. Division B, Ghost 11, 280.36. We have he's 2 games back, and so we have Danny Nichols in the top spot there, 8-2. Benny Trees in Division B at 8-2 as well. And then in the hunt, we have SB Sherman with 7-3, and then 2 games back, Pritchard 0-3 at 6-4, and Ghost 100 there making the run at 6-4 as well. Division W, Philip Rupert 258.66, taking a peek there. Philip Rupert's in that top spot in Division W, so really putting a strong performance together, 8-2. David R. 8-2 as well, and then in the hunt, Georgetown Baseball 22, 7-3, Jack Power 6-4, Wolfpack 6-4 in that division, trying to make a strong run here. Division X, the real Brad Smith, top spot there, 268.88. How that looks, it looks like you're in the hunt and 2 games back. So we got Felix the Cat 9-1. We got JSL 111, 8-2, and then you at 6-4. Circle the Wagon 6-4 as well. So we'll be interested to hear how you're going to make that push to get 2 games and 4 out of the 4 games. You make up those 2 games and see if you can get into the playoffs. They're 23-52. It looks like you are a bunch of points back there, so you're going to have to, get 3 wins. Make up 3 games pretty much there to get there. But maybe it's more of winning a couple $100 and just taking out the division this year for you as you build. Division Y, Slippy Nanner 281.05. He is in the top spot in Division Y as well, 8-2. And then we got King Khan 34, 8-2. And then in the hunt, C Yates 87. So both those C Yateses are those Yateses are in these hunts. Kerwin 17, 7-3 as well. Kamish 6-4, and Nick Merkel 6-4 as well. And Division Z, Marshall Gore 275.50, and he's in the second spot. But we got Mr. Shy Guy 8-2, Marshall Gore 7-3, and then we've got Pants Cooper also 7-3, less points, about 200 less, and then GJS 256 6-4, Mario 19 6-4, and No Cap Carson 2 games back 5-5. So with 200 down, so he's got to make up 3 games as well. Let's take a look at the Draft Guru and see what his team looks like as he tries to, make a push here as well.
His team's definitely solid here.
He really only needs to make up 1 game because
he better
he's got
hope
more
so.
points than D Hart, so he wins the tie.
He's gonna have to, because if you notice the bye weeks, he's in trouble next week. You got Burrow, Kamara, Etienne, Bigsby, all on bye next week, and then he's got Lamar and Mixon on bye week 14, and Bateman and Douglas, and he's really only got Kyler and Tracy on the bench that are worth mentioning.
So we'll be anxious to see if he makes any trades before that trade deadline in week 12. It'll be, we have got all of this week and then until the Monday night game ends, I guess, next week to make those trades and see what kind of deadline deals there are.
Yeah, if he wants one of those 2 top spots, he might have to make something happen.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting finish for sure. Do you think you have a shot in your Big 8 team?
I wasn't planning on it. I kind of came out. My team's performing better than I thought it was going to.
Gotcha. I'm always like, hey, if I get like that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go try to get some money because I feel like it's real elusive, for sure. So,
yeah.
But you have to make up 3 games in 4, so you have to kind of maybe get a little bit of a head-to-head or something against one of them and make sure that's a win for you. if there's a way to
Yeah.
make that all happen. So, well, that's a wrap for week 10. Now we move on to week 11. It'll be exciting to see how these things change over the course of next week. And again, hit the like button on the video if you like the content, and also take a look at the PDFs, which will have this the standings on, so you can kind of refer back to them. So, without further ado, we'll sign out for this week, and we'll see you all next week.